Welcome to another video on calculation. I'll probably do a few episodes about calculating. Okay, right, so today's topic is about blueprinting. Okay, when it comes to calculation, blueprinting. Okay, so what do we mean by blueprinting? It's when you have the ideal scenario and you're just working at different variations or different ways to get to that mating position. Okay, so here in this position here, it looks very tactical. It looks like there's some sort of checkmate possibilities. Okay, so the two rooks, the one on f6 prevents the king from escaping there. So there's like a little box here. Yeah, there's like a little box, and then it becomes even smaller when the second rank rook goes to f5 here. Okay, so here going through these, I stumbled upon one position, the blueprint position. Okay, so it was something like this. Okay, yes, the king could go here, so you have to calculate that, g4 or h4. So when it goes here, I kind of felt, h3 or g3. So h3 is more forcing, so it's part of CCT, as everyone knows, checks, captures, and threats, but my version is tactics. It's a little bit more broader than threats, but at least it covers everything, right? Okay, so I looked at h3, and once again, you have to calculate the king going to h4 and g3 and what the ramifications are. So if the king goes here to h4, okay, so after this move here, the king only has one square. Bam, checkmate. So this is our blueprint. Why I say it's the blueprint, it's kind of like a goal that we're aiming for. You don't have to do that in your calculations, but sometimes it can prove useful. You might discover something and you're hoping to get to that position. So rook goes there, and then now the king goes here. So we have to calculate. So once again, if we play h3, it looks quite familiar. King h4, and then rook h6 check, and then checkmate. But there's a little difference here. The king goes to g3, and there's no rook here on h6. So instead of calculating everything, at least you have a goal in mind, which is that position. Okay, where the rook is on h6. Okay, there we go. So we're aiming for this kind of position, but from this position. Okay, and how would we do that? Okay, yes, you could be thinking, rook f3, this is the way forward, and then rook h6. No, no, no. The king kind of escapes there. So you're there thinking in a frustrated emotion, you're struggling, you're panting, you're frustrated, you're anxious. Okay, don't worry. Just keep that idea in mind. Okay, and how do we get to that position? Okay, so a great way here is just to move one of the rooks. It's almost like a wasteful move, or you could call it something else, a purposeful move. So rook checks here, and then the king has to go back here. The king goes back there. Okay, so where can this rook go? Can we go to f3? Well, he might be able to escape or get the other pieces in. Okay, what about rook h6? We've seen this before. This is the blueprint position. So the king can't go anywhere but g3, and then we reach our blueprint position. Okay, so that is just one example. Okay, I think we've all been there before, where we realize what the solution is after going through it with an engine. But hopefully, as you practice, the more that you practice, you get more used to it. You'll recognize this blueprint idea, and you'll use it in some of your puzzles and games. Okay, so let's move on to another example. Okay, Here, exactly the same thing. We do our assessment. 5 pawns for black, 4 for white, 2 rooks each, minor piece each. Okay. But the white king is in a precarious position. Okay. And plus this pawn on a7 is about to queen and then checkmate black's king. Because these squares are attacked or covered by this knight here. So when I was going through this, I was thinking, okay, this is nice and easy. This, that's checkmate. Okay, so I kind of thought, this must be something to remember next time. Okay, just in case the complications get a little too off the beaten track, as it were. I've got this reference to go back to. Okay, I don't think it's going to be as simple as that. And then I thought I'd try, how about this? King sort of escapes in h5 in a lot of the lines. Anyway, and maybe here, but trying to recreate that blueprint position. Okay, yeah, that's fairly easy. After this move, maybe he doesn't go to f5, he goes to h5. And now I'm in a bit of a dilemma. The pawn's about to queen. So am I thinking, is this the right move? Something like this? No, the king escapes. And I can't even use the h3 square because it's covered by the pawn. So I'm going through all these variations, getting everything to work, not quite pulling it out. So knight e5 doesn't work, rook g3 I don't think works. So what about, let's go back to rook g3 and then here, and what about this? It must be I'm hoping for f3, maybe g6, doesn't quite look right, and then knight f4, that would be great, yeah, so f3, there's a pawn check here. If I escape from everything, yes, just knight f4. But this kind of covers everything. Okay. So I was looking through all these variations and I just couldn't quite get it to work. And then I stumbled upon an idea. How about we play this move? Why does this work? You should see. So after this move, here, okay, king goes here, here, here. Wait a minute. Oops, sorry about that. Wait a minute, this looks very familiar. It's that blueprint position that I was hoping to get to. And how did I get to that position? I kind of thought even from here, h5 didn't feel like the right move. But I just wanted to see whether I could get back to that blueprint position from h5 for whatever reason. King can only go to one place. And then somehow the rook from g6 to h6 will now go to f6 to deliver the resounding checkmate. And it's this blueprint idea that I found from doing puzzles and playing longer games. It has helped me in my calculation, my thinking, my assessment, and then the process. That's the most important. The process, the thought process behind coming up with the right lines, variations, and moves. Hopefully you found it useful, and I shall see you in the next one.